Hello everyone, welcome back to Old Dad's Modeling Mess. And in today's video, we finish off the King 34 build. As you can see, I primed and painted it off camera. I only do this because where my paint booth is, it's really cluttered over there. It's kind of in between my drill press and my bandsaw, and that's really the only place I can put it at because that's where the only window on that side of the garage is at. The other side of the garage is finished, so it's like having a second family room or whatever, or a front room, however you want to look at it. So I just have the one window, and to exhaust the fumes, it's got to be right there. So yeah. Anyway, getting back to the paint, I used three colors for this. It was desert yellow for the entire tank, Luftwaffe Green, but that's because that's the only German green that I had, and a German medium brown. It was kind of weird because this is the first time that I've masked off a tank. You know, I mean, back when I was younger, I used to do that with cars and stuff, but excuse me, everything was a little bit simpler with those because there wasn't quite as much stuff getting in the way as there is on these. So I painted it all desert yellow, and then I had to wait for a day, let everything cure and all that stuff, and then I masked it off, and then I sprayed it all green, and then I did the same thing with the green. Is I masked it off, and then I sprayed the brown, and I think it was like a day and a half later, I finally got the balls up to peel it off because I didn't know what was going to happen. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, because for me it was kind of strange because I've never really done that. I've either messed with the airbrush and tried to do that sort of stuff, or I'll cheat somewhat, and like I think when I talked to Andy about doing that little diorama thing with that PZ4 that I sent him, I did it with a the camo on it. I cheated with that because with it being more of a Africa Corps tank, what I did was I did a wash camo. So it looked like it had been faded by all the sand and stuff like that, you know. So this was the first time that I've really laid down some tape and all that goofy weird stuff on a tank. So yeah, it didn't turn out too bad. I mean, there was a few little spots here and there, but you know, I mean, you're going to get that regardless. I figured with the washes and stuff like that and the weathering, it'll cover most of that up. Here I'm using just a I think this was just a regular like medium green or something like that. It wasn't no special like German or British or American colors or whatever. And the only reason I did that was because the Soviet tanks, when they're painted, they're just green, and I needed something a little bit lighter than the Luftwaffe green, so I just used the medium green and put a little bit of white in there just to tone it down just a little bit, because I didn't know how well it was going to look up against the green there of the Luftwaffe green. Finally there, I spit it out. And so, you know, actually didn't. You can, as you can see there, it does kind of contrast it. So I mean, that worked out pretty good. And for the inside of the chips where the exposed metal is at, I just used a medium gray. It's the same thing that I use for the steel parts on the tools and the spare tracks. So I mean, the main reason I did that though is because I wanted to see how well it would hold up with using the track wash over it, because I have a lot of the gray. So I figure if I can use that to be the steel color, air quotes there, and then use like the track wash over it to darken it down and stuff like that, and then I can add the rust and other effects and stuff like that. If it comes out pretty good, I'll be happy, and I think it did really good. But I don't know if any of you guys have noticed yet, but when I cleared this so I could do the weathering, I thought I was being smart, because the last couple of times when I used my matte varnish, my washes and pin lines and stuff like that, or panel lines, that sort of stuff, it didn't come out really good. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to try the clear gloss varnish. Yeah, it don't it it works really good, or at least for me, it worked way too well, because as soon as I tried to do any type of a pin wash, or do the panel lines, that stuff just went everywhere. It I was like, wow, that's exactly what I didn't want it to do. Because my prior problem was I couldn't get the flow through the seams and stuff good, and so yeah, I'll use the gloss. It'll just glide right through. Yeah, it slid right over everything. So I'm like, well, shit, that didn't work. So lesson learned. But I'm gonna pop on a couple of songs here. You guys enjoy, and I will catch back up to you here in just a second. once I was done with all the chipping, I that gloss varnish was just messing with me, and so I decided that I had enough of it, and I put a couple very nice, good coats of matte varnish on, and wow, did that make a difference. As you can see here, while I'm adding on this weathering effects here, if you look at that fuel tank, you can see where I was actually able to get like the streaking grime and stuff like that around the straps, and it worked out really well. I put on, once it was dry, I put on a coat of the desert yellow wash, and it just instantly it made the, in my opinion, it made the whole thing look a ton better. And so I was like, oh, thank God. I wasn't done, but I mean, I still need to go by and do some touch ups and try to get some panel lines and little areas done here and there and all that. But yeah, that I will never ever 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 use clear varnish again or gloss varnish again. No way. It just, yeah, I probably wasted 2 or 3 hours on the build trying to fix the washes and stuff like that, when they didn't work, or cleaning up, hurrying up and cleaning up the where the panel line just decided it was going to run all over this area here. And yeah, it it didn't work for me. So if it works good for you guys, keep doing it. Props to you. Yeah, it didn't work for me. So yeah, with all that out of the way, though, pretty much, or somewhat kind of under control, it was really time to start adding, the weathering effects and stuff like this before I, put the wheels on for good. And I some people might think that it's silly, but the reason why I do that little thing right there where the fender meets the side of the hull and on the edges of the very far ends, of the fenders and stuff, it kind of hides that seam, uh, especially like on that one Panther, the Tamiya from like 1912 or whatever year it's from. I think it's from the early 60s, but where I had to scratch build my sponsons, there was that seam, and so I tried to hide that as much as I can. Plus, it makes it looks like it's rode through mud and grass and stuff like that. But as I'm doing this, an idea hit me. I know. I get way too many of them damn things. But several years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, I got that Ryefield kit, and I'd been watching a lot of Night Shifts videos, and he just praises the VMS Smart Mud. And so I've had some of that stuff sitting around for forever. Well, at least 3 years. And I was wondering, I was like, because the Vallejo weathering effects, to me, it's just a really thick acrylic paint with some static grass in it. I mean, at least that's what it looks like to me. I could be completely wrong, but that's the way I look at it. And so I was like, that looks good, but I wonder if this stuff would work. And since it was old, it was dry-ish. It still had some moisture, but not like it did when I first got it. And so I took a ball of it, put it in there, and I just added some water, and I'll be damned, that stuff just instantly just worked great. Uh, yeah, I was just like completely shocked at how well it worked. So if you guys have any of that stuff, test it out. And yeah, I added, actually, as I was doing this, I happened to look at the Panther box there, and I seen that they had different wheels, and I'm like, oh man. But uh, I think that was after I added it to the wheels here is when I started paying attention, and then that's when I noticed that. So I actually do, after all this stuff dries, I go back in and I hand paint a few of them off camera and stuff like that, and add the finishing little details. But you know, this smart mud, I liked it so much, I actually ended up going using it on the hull too, kind of in between where the bare spots were. I thinned it down and I put it on there, and it's just like just small little dirt clods, stuff like that. I mean, it works for me. It actually, I think it looks a lot better than the weathering effects there from Vallejo. Okay, guys, one more song, and then we'll wrap this up. And with that, sorry, I really like that song, guys. So that one's on me. With all that done, here comes the most important parts. Andy's bucket. Got to have one on all the builds. And right now I'm going back and forth. I'll put Andy's bucket on each model, and I think the last one I did, I put a wash basin on it. And so for this one here, I'm going to put a cooking pot. So I'm just using a gunmetal here for this, so it's not really shiny, but it's, you can tell that it's metal. So, but as you can see in the background, I like I said, I hand painted the wheels, and I went ahead and I added the rust effects and stuff and finished that all off. And so this was actually really the last thing left to do on it, to finish this build off. I got to be honest, this was actually a really, really fun build for me, because it let me do stuff that, you know, never happened, but is somewhat plausible, in air quotes, of course. So, you know, adding the running gear from a Panther and the tracks, and, you know, the gun and the tools. Uh, you know, it for me, I love building models. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes you got to throw a little flavor in there from time to time. You know, and just do something off the wall. You know, I think really the last time that I kind of almost did that was when I built the Sioux that's back there in the back, that Sioux 85, and I painted that thing just a really bright blue. It was an acrylic paint that my wife had, and it was, yeah, for her little hobbies and stuff like that. I seen this really bright blue, and I was like, ooh, you know, and so I painted it, the whole thing blue, and then sprayed it with the chipping fluid, and then started chipping it, and, you know, turned into that monstrosity. But that was really fun, you know, adding the camo net and the little flowers and the snow and stuff like that. You know, I had fun with it. So, you know, when I get to do, you know, something like this here, it's for me, it's a lot more fun. Uh, just because, you know, I mean, it's not something that you see every day. So, yeah. With all that, though, I really think it turned out good. Uh, I still think that it might be a bit shiny, uh, but, you know, since it's out here in the garage, you know, give it a week or so, it'll get some dust on it, and it'll dull it down. uh, but yeah, no, it. Uh, I really like how I was able to get the staining around the straps and the fuel tanks, or the caps on the fuel tanks. That really worked well for me. That was where I was really having the most problem, was it, before I added the the couple of washes on there. It was just the whole thing would just stain, you know, like bad. So I had to fix that, and those were the real main areas. So by doing that and getting that, I am really happy with how things worked out. But as always, guys, thank you for watching my videos. If you do like this sort of stuff, please don't be afraid. Click that like button. Drop a comment down below. Not going to cost you nothing. Just like subscribing. If you're not already, consider subscribing. That really helps the channel grow. And we're growing pretty good, guys. We're at like over 240 subs right now. So we're well on our way to hitting the 500 subs by the end of the year. You guys are awesome. Let's keep it up. We got this. I have full faith in everyone. You know, again, subscribing, free, except for the notification that you'll get when I post videos. You know, that's it. Costs me money, because when you guys subscribe, it tells me you like stuff, so then I get to go buy more stuff, so it's actually a win, even though it cost me money. But anyway, on top of that, we have a Discord. The link is down in the channel or in the description below. It's also free. There are channels in there just to BS around in. We have a channel for everybody to post pictures of their builds, and I cannot and I will not ever stop stressing we have some absolutely awesome builders in there. The stuff that these guys have been posting pictures of are absolutely gorgeous. I mean, they make my stuff look like little Tonka toys. I mean, complete garbage. Okay, these guys are absolutely awesome builders, and it's worth joining just to come see what they've got. You know, there's a tips and tricks channel in there, so if you know something, throw it out there. Maybe somebody doesn't know, or they'll try something that they haven't tried yet. There's a build idea. If you want to see something on the channel, put it in there. Maybe we can do something. And finally, I do have a channel where I post pictures like this of the builds that I'm working on when I have a chance. So, again, thank you guys. And until the next video, enjoy the shots. I will see you later. Bye-bye.